Afternoon and good evening, everybody, whatever part of the world you're currently listening to our video blog and eventually podcast. I tend to connect the two whenever I talk on a specific subject via my video blog. I try to expand on it on my podcast, and sometimes even vice versa. So thank you for joining me on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I believe today's the 3rd of May already. So it's always nice to enjoy this spring weather. I guess wherever part of the world you're at, but specifically in the Western Hemisphere, since we have 4 seasons for the most part, it's always nice and very encouraging to enjoy the outdoors and go out for a walk and enjoy the view, because the weather's temperament, it's very, or temperament, I should say, temperate. It's not so hot, not so cold, just perfect. It's just like the beautiful weather to be in. All right, folks, so I decided to go out for a walk and enjoy the view and the park. With that said, I hope you guys are doing well. It's one of those months where things tend to happen faster, because the weather's improving. People tend to walk around more, and they have this go-getter attitude when people walk and enjoy the weather outside. Okay, folks, they tend to I almost got run over by a scooter. He didn't know where to go, but I guess he's new on that scooter. But what I was saying is that people tend to be more of a go-getter when it's warmer outside and the weather's beautiful. It brings up their spirit, and it also increases their overall motivation to be productive. So those are the benefits of the changes in season and weather. It's always nice to appreciate the outdoors. All right, with that said, just wanted to reflect on the overall election season that's gonna be happening soon here in the state of Virginia. Granted, I commute between Washington and Virginia. I tend to pay attention to certain local politics in the state just because I came from the state of Virginia. But it's especially interesting this year because of not only the candidates but the overall environment. I'm gonna try to cut through here because it gets pretty loud outside, out near the road here. So I'm gonna try to cut through the park. But what I was saying is that the candidates and the election season and environment have kind of manifested to the point that it's pretty comical. Okay, it's gotten somewhat mostly, disjointed and unproductive and toxic and everything else that you can think of. Okay, that is very unfortunate for it to be happening in the state of Virginia, but it is happening. And yeah, the reality of things at this point. So I thought I'd talk about it because most of you are aware that when I spoke at an event last February, there were something that took place. There's several things that took place. I'm going to specifically talk about one. The lady that was in charge and is associated with the Virginia Republican Party, who was, the chairwoman, but basically came up to me and, just barked at me basically and told me that I wasn't gonna be a nominee. Okay, and I'm like, whoa, okay, lady, I've never met you before. I know nothing about you. You know nothing about me, and I've yet to even turn in our signatures and before the primaries. And they were like, okay, well, this is what he was talking about with me. And I'm like, why are you telling me that I'll never be the nominee of the Republican Party before we can even submit our signatures and engage in the primary? So I find that extremely strange and troubling, given that she's supposed to be impartial. She's supposed to be, one of those that doesn't take sides or doesn't specifically endorse a candidate, especially if they're all from the same party, because that's not her job. It's not her privilege to just tell people that they're not going to be a nominee, which was kind of strange. So there's a lot of what was happening was basically very bizarre when I was talking to her, because I'm sorry, I'm kind of watching these people play tennis while vlogging, but like I was saying, it was kind of bizarre that she mentioned those things to me. I'm not that, so many things that she said. I'm not going to discuss all of them just because I don't think we have enough time on this video blog for today. But yeah, so I found it strange, and so I went and asked clarification, okay, from their office. I've yet to hear back from their office, but I'd love to know why she said that to me and not to any of the other candidates. I mean, there was, I think, 6 of us all together, but she specifically told me those things that really, it was very counterproductive. Okay, folks, very counterproductive in my opinion. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, I just thought I mention it because I just never encountered that kind of event before, ever. And this is my second time to run for office. Okay. Wow, man, this is so nice out here. Sunday afternoon. The breeze feels so nice and cool enough to enjoy your walk. Okay. This is very nice. I'm gonna cut through this part and then come back the same way. Okay? Because this is just so very enticing to stretch your legs and exercise a little. So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up because I know some of you guys were wondering about my position and what I just done regarding that event that took place last February. So I kind of put it aside and focusing on other things. And also, as many of you know, my little baby girl that I've been with for 18 years, who almost made it to 19 years, recently passed, my baby Bella. So I wanted to take some time to kind of reflect on her life and our memories together and time that we spent, the joys and fun and ups and downs that we went through. So I did not engage in any political activities for a few weeks, you know, during the time that my little baby girl was, you know, going through her transition basically to heaven. So, yeah, so that's basically why I did not talk about this specific issue in the last couple of weeks. But now I feel more open, and I think I've reflected on what took place back in February enough to want to, you know, discuss it a little and see how things are, you know, moving forward. So anyway, check out this very nice bush and shrubbery and trees. You just, you know, sometimes you just need to enjoy nature. You know, I was watching some of these YouTubers that lives off the grid, and you know, basically they live in nature in South America. They go into the jungle and get their bananas and food, berries, and all sorts of sustenance from the forest. Yep. So it's a pretty interesting way of life, but I can understand. I guess some people can do homesteading, that especially those people that have been exposed to it and grew up with it. They know how to survive in the wild. So here you are. There's some turtles in this little creek here. Normally when the water's low enough, you can see their heads bobbing up, and even the backs, you can see them there. But they're nowhere to be found today. So let's listen to these birds. And I was just talking about, you know, those YouTubers that live in the jungle. Kind of sounds like this every day for them. All they hear is the singing and chirping of the birds. No road pollution noise, no air pollution so much from airplanes, just them and the wild. Can y'all hear that? Very cool, huh? Very cool. I mean, sometimes people are so inundated with, but not by the monotony of life and monotony of their routine, that they forget, you know, the beauty of nature and the calmness and the peacefulness of nature. You know, stress-wise too. So many people go through so much stress because that's just how things are for most people. you know. But it's always nice to reflect on life and reflect on the trajectory of life, and the best way to do that is in nature. Okay, folks. Yeah. So very, very nice walk. I love this kind of walk. It's so calming and tranquil, and it's a great way to distress. I'm gonna go back this way because I'm trying to avoid the road and the cars and all that noise. But I'm just enjoying the sound of the birds. Hello, the incredible Martins. I can't really read the text, it's so small. But hello, thanks for joining me on my walk on this Sunday afternoon, reflecting about certain things that took place as a candidate, and enjoying nature and the weather that is so phenomenally nice. Beautiful weather. Very beautiful weather. So anyway, yep. Imagine, living in nature in the jungles of Bolivia or Paraguay or Peru, all these Andes mountains and Andes, all the very nice places of the world, away from all the commotion of the road and the city stress life. Okay, folks, those are the things that you remember in life. Okay, that's just what makes life much better and great to engage in. All right, so yeah, that seems to be the upswing of life, is your peace and ability to enjoy nature. Okay, so that's just how it is. Very, very nice. I'm gonna turn around because I don't want to get too close to the road while I'm vlogging, so y'all can hear what I'm saying. But I'm gonna go this way again to where I came from and enjoy the scenery and the view. Anyway, so moving on with what to talk about. I don't know if you guys have heard, but according to the news, the US is starting to withdraw personnel. I heard troops, but I think it's personnel out of Germany, from our base in Germany. And by far, I think in Europe, the US has the biggest base located in Germany so far. I think eventually it's going to transition to other countries in Europe. But I think for now, at least, the US have decided, or at least the administration have decided, to pull a few thousand personnel out of Germany due to what the Prime Minister of Germany had said regarding the current administration's engagement in the Middle East, specifically in Iran. So all of these countries in Western Europe and even Central and Eastern Europe are now member countries of NATO, which America is a part of. Okay? And leading up to the war in Ukraine, things were okay. You know, among member countries in NATO countries, the only issue at that time, before the war in Ukraine took place, was basically contribution to the NATO organization. And then things start to go south between NATO countries and the US after the Biden administration left. Mainly because the Biden administration supported, you know, the war in Ukraine and basically sided with Ukraine and gave them money and weapons. But many of the NATO member countries weren't donating as much as the US was donating to Ukraine. And when the Trump administration took office, they decided to escalate the contribution, okay, to Ukraine, and try to encourage both sides, the Russians and Ukrainians, to participate in a peace talk where the war would end and everything will be back to normal, you know, eventually. I mean, it's never an instant thing. It happens gradually when, you know, a war situation had ended. What typically happens is, you know, you have to rebuild the country. And so, anyway, the Trump administration encouraged both sides to settle their differences and promote diplomacy between themselves and talk things out and stop the, you know, overall conflict that took a lot of lives, okay, from both sides. And basically, NATO and many of their member countries didn't like that kind of approach. And I guess what had happened was basically try to convince each other not to work with the US, unfortunately. And now that America is engaged, Iran, they're basically saying that it's not their war. After the Trump administration asked them for support and assistance. And they kind of flipped the table on Trump, because when the European Union wanted to continue supporting Ukraine and providing weapons and funds to Ukraine, mainly because Ukraine doesn't want to engage in a peace talks with Russia, they decided that they're going to tell Trump that, you know, the Iran conflict is not their war either. So they kind of flipped the table, okay? And it's a very unfortunate situation because war is never the answer to anything, folks. I don't know why people still engage in wars. I don't know the reason for not engaging in a diplomatic solution in the year 2026, because technically everybody's trying to build their capacity. They're just, you know, trying to make lives better for their citizens and people. Okay? That's the overall motivation of most countries out there. Even rogue countries, even third world countries, poor countries. All they want to do is to improve the situation of the population. Okay, folks, and yeah, it's sad that we're still having to deal with these kinds of war conflicts around the world. Wars should never be an answer to anything, to any conflict. You know, back in the days in World War I and World War II, people misunderstood each other and miscommunicated, and that's how war ended up happening. Okay, folks. That's kind of impossible for now, you know, for the year 2026 to happen, given that, you know, people cannot really misinterpret and misunderstand each other anymore if they want to learn and understand each other. That's the reality of everything. Okay, folks. Some people resist compromising, and they resist to engage in a diplomatic solution, and that's, you know, they knowingly not want to participate in today's world. This is a conscious decision not to participate, versus back in the day, in the early 19s, and even in the 30s and 40s. Okay, people just simply did not know how to do diplomacy and communicate and compromise back then. So they engaged in a war situation. But today, it's almost impossible to engage in a war, not really finding an alternative, because it's so much easier to communicate today and understand each other's point of view and perspective. But unfortunately, there are people out there that simply don't want to you know, engage in the diplomatic solution. Okay, folks, that's the reality of things, and it's a sad revelation of how people have become. Okay, so yep, it's very unfortunate that there's still this war going on. Many have opposed it, many have talked against it, many even, you know, have been thrown in jail for speaking out against war on this world. But unfortunately, when individuals are so hell-bent into destroying and, you know, engaging in a very unproductive and sinister conflict, then a lot of people end up suffering. You know, it's just very unfortunate. But it's a sad, you know, reflection on people and the state of the human condition, because in all reality, it shouldn't happen. Okay, if those decision makers are utilizing their brain, if they're utilizing logic and reason, then there shouldn't be a war anywhere. But fortunately, there are people out there that simply don't realize the effects of their actions and disjoint opinions. So very, very unfortunate, folks. But what can you do? When you put the wrong people in office, in power, and greed, and evil agendas are the objectives of our decision makers, then these kinds of stuff happen. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to work for the government. I understand certain things, why things needs to happen. But there are a lot of solutions to today's problems and ways to correct those problems. If you're creative enough and resourceful enough, you will find a solution to certain problems that might not be so easy to solve, initially. But if you're willing to utilize your brain, you will find a solution. Okay? That's just how it is. So, anyway, wow, it's a nice walk. How long have we walked today? About 32 minutes already. So, we walked fairly fast today, and we're on our way back. So, we're making some progress in terms of our walking speed and overall strategy to connect with our audience via our platform, because I'm not just vlogging, I'm actually also exercising as I do this video blog. So it's definitely very beneficial to move around and walk and connect with our audience around the world. With that said, folks, I hope you are enjoying this video blog, and would consider to share and subscribe and tell your friends about our channel. Support us and help us continue to make this world a better place for everyone. Okay? That's just something that we aspire for this channel to be. Okay, folks? Provide a solution to have people reflect on certain things. Okay? And I think we've managed to do that, actually. Little by little, we're introducing new concepts and ideas and strategies to our audience that may have not thought about some of those strategies and concepts. So again, I apologize for the loud noise. I'm now walking close to the road. Because I'm on my way back. But yeah, it's been a very nice walk. I enjoy walking like this and decompressing. So, yep. Tell me your thoughts on what we talked about today. It'd be nice to hear from you. Text us, message us, leave a comment on the description section of this live video blog. Ask us questions. It's always nice to interact with the audience and learn from you, because this should be an interaction, not just a monologue. Okay, folks. So with that said, I have a few more minutes. I think about 10 more minutes to go. But if there's anything for you that you would like for me to talk about, please let me know. And I'll be happy to briefly touch up on them on my way back. I've got about 10 minutes, so let me know if you have any questions or anything that you would like for me to talk about. Okay, folks. I'm very interested in knowing about your thoughts regarding the political quagmire that the U.S. is currently engaged in overseas. I'm interested to know what your thoughts regarding my own campaign. If you have any suggestions or anything that you want me to share, let me know. And anything or everything that would be of concern or interest to you. I think that's something that I want to explore on further. And talk to you guys about, because at the end of the day, we all have to learn from each other. Okay, we all have to engage and make each other sharper, because it's in our best interest to build our capacity mentally, professionally, personally. Okay, that's the best way for you to feel like you've achieved something with your life. Don't focus on material things per se, and even though I'm not saying it's not a good thing, if you would like to have some material things for yourself and you enjoy you're using those material things, great. But don't make material things the ultimate indicator of your success. Okay, because at the end of the day, material things can be taken from you. They depreciate in value, and they fade in the overall experience that you gain from those material things. Not instantly, but eventually those material things will not feel as valuable as before. What does increase in value is your capacity. It increases your overall ability to chart your course in life and make things happen for you. Okay? So those are the things that you need to focus in on, is building your personal and professional acumen. Okay, folks? And that's just the pure, unadulterated fact that you all need to consider. Because sometimes when you live in a society that is more interested in material things, again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you can't put material things at the forefront of who you are as a person. Learn to evolve and learn to increase capacity, and you will do fairly well in life. Okay, much better than you ever had thought about. So with that said, folks, since I didn't get any questions, I guess we will have to reconvene later and engage once again on the meeting of the minds, in which we are going to talk about issues and subjects that is of interest to the public, and sometimes I share some stories, my own personal and professional stories, on my video blog. But overall, I try to explore on what's being shared on social media, because after all, our platform, faceconomics, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide, is directly associated to the social media platform. And that's the only reason I really get on social media, is because a lot of what we do is connected to that environment. Okay, folks, with that said, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate your interest in our work. With that said, take care.